This video says this will go down as one of the worst things to ever be done by a president.
Well, welcome back. President and Vice President Vance meeting with House and Senate Republicans yesterday on Capitol Hill. A source telling Fox that the group discussed how to deal with the debt limit, disaster aid, no taxes on tip, government funding, and reconciliation. Here's Trump and House Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday.
Did you reach any conclusion on this one big stream? I think we have a good situation now.
We assembled top leaders in the House to show you that we are unified, but not just unified, energized. There's a sea change in Washington. You felt it here. I was with the president at the White House for 3 hours today with Leader Thune and other leaders from the conference here. We are all united on this agenda.
Joining me now is Tennessee Congressman, Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Mark Green. Mr. Chairman, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you, Maria. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, yes, you just heard Mike Johnson there. How do you see things? What would be an acceptable time frame to get all of these things in one reconciliation bill?
Well, the time frame that we've set as a goal is very arduous, and I think that's kind of how you do it. You shoot for the sun, and you get to the moon. But I think it's probably going to be 3 months, maybe 4 at the most. But everybody's, like the speaker said, energized. We want to get this done. We saw the massive statement by the American people to get this agenda accomplished. We're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely. And now, of course, your plans for executing President Trump's agenda, running into a new disaster with the Los Angeles fires and the aid that is needed there. What is the number that you're expecting in terms of the aid? And will that come with promises to change policy in California?
Well, if you're talking about changing California's policy, absolutely. But if you're talking about how we, like FEMA, distributes aid and all that, we're not changing the policy there. I mean, the numbers, the amounts, it all needs to stay the same for North Carolina as it is. California's going to be treated the same. We're going to make sure FEMA's doing its job this time around, not like they treated the people in North Carolina, but the amounts, the monies, all that stuff's going to be equitably distributed between those two states. As far as California's policies, absolutely, we're going to hold them accountable to some of the bad decisions, like on water and on their local fire. I mean, it's just ridiculous that the decisions of the state and local leaders.
So if you didn't know, a large portion of the water that California did have got donated and poured into a bigger body of water, I believe into the ocean. So a lot of people were like, bro, you guys had water. Why did you give it away? And there was no water in the fire hydrants in a lot of areas that these fires popped up in. So one has to wonder.
Have really amplified this problem.
Let me take a look at the border, sir. Of course, you've been so focused on this danger around the failure to vet people coming in. A new caravan with more than 2,000 migrants set off from southern Mexico toward the United States this week. The group not fazed by President Trump's border executive orders. Of course, he has declared an emergency at the border. He's resumed border wall construction. He's ending catch and release, reinstating Remain in Mexico, canceling the CBP One app, and ending birthright citizenship for children of illegal migrants. The American Civil Liberties Union and attorneys general from 22 states are now suing Trump over that birthright citizenship order. And the White House has responded, saying this: these lawsuits are nothing more than an extension of the left's resistance, and the Trump administration is ready to face them in court. More than 20 Republican House members introducing a new bill or about to introduce that bill, limiting birthright citizenship this week. Mr. Chairman, tell me what you can do differently by this new notion that it is an emergency situation at the southern border after President Trump declared this.
Well, he also, I think just issued some orders that he's going to deploy the U.S. military very quickly to the border, which is, I think, the quickest and fastest way to get the border shut down. And we have to do something. This is a massive emergency. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dead Americans to fentanyl. Some of these criminal gangs that have metastasized across our country, cartels are uniting with gangs in the United States to create this nexus that have killed Americans. I mean, this is a desperate situation. The fact that 50, 60,000 Chinese have come in here, military age, all of this is a massive national security threat. The fact that this last administration allowed this will go down in history as one of the worst things that's ever happened by a president in the history of the country, or really in the world. No nation sets about making their own destruction, but that's exactly what Joe Biden and the liberals have done, whether it's fires in Los Angeles or it's, crime going all over our city because of a wide open southern border. This president has said enough. The American people said enough. If liberals are pissed off at President Trump's policies, they're really pissed off at the American people because they're the ones that said enough is enough. And they put Trump back in office. And this is exactly what President Trump needs to be doing. People are ecstatic about this, except for the...
Somebody's passion is showing. That's all I'm going to say on that right there. He's fired up, dog.
25% progressive liberals that are out there that want to sue President Trump for saying, hey, we get to decide as a nation who becomes an American. No country on the world just says, hey, if you're born here, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's also actually quite extraordinary. He calls it a...
And so what his point is right there is that a lot of different countries, you're not automatically just considered a citizen because you were born in the country. Literally, people are considered citizens if they're just born here. Your parents can be citizens of wherever and be planning on going back, but you are a citizen of the United States. You can get dual citizenship, but you've gotten your citizenship as an American citizen just by being born here. He doesn't think that should be the case, and a lot of other countries don't have it that way.
A revolution of common sense. It certainly looks like that.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm glad you brought on Chinese nationals that have come in through the open border, because this is a really important point. And I saw an interview with you at the Hudson Institute recently with Jonathan Ward, and I was so struck by that interview. That was a great interview, sir. Thank you for opening up the way that you did. Are you saying, in terms of the Chinese nationals coming in, is there any evidence of foul play with the fires in Los Angeles? Do we know if, in fact, people have come in and created some of these fires intentionally?
We don't have direct evidence that has been shown to me. That's not to say that we're not going to get there at some point and figure that out. But as of right now, no one has shown me evidence that this was some kind of foreign plot. But clearly it's possible. We know that they're letting the fentanyl precursors come in here and kill Americans. We know that they've united with the drug cartels. We know that from a cyber perspective, they're in our infrastructure. They're in our telecoms, listening to everybody's phone. I mean, what China is doing, China is not our friend. And it's time that the American business community realize that and comes home. Stop manufacturing in China, move to a friendly country. That's part of the point of the tariffs. I mean, we can't just let countries abuse us like this. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. Are you investigating this? Are you going to do an investigation of the origins of those fires?
Absolutely. There will be investigation. Now, this is more of a judiciary committee kind of thing. Not so much me, but, we're digging into those Chinese nationals that are here.
And Mr. Chairman, you are holding a hearing on the cyber threats also involving China. Tell us what to expect from your hearing.
Yeah, Maria, this is one of the things that we need more dialogue about in the country is this cyber threat from China, from Iran, from North Korea. It is pervasive. They basically right now are in our infrastructure, have been in our infrastructure for some time, meaning the services of water, power, things that are critical to everyday Americans and to our survival. And they are in those systems. They have, the telecoms, they got into people's phones. This is unbelievable, and it's time we address it. And we've got an agenda to do just that. And that's, focus on, of course, the southern border. That's number one. But number two is fixing the cyber shortage in America. We have 500,000 empty jobs, and it's difficult to compete when you don't have experts defending the nation, defending the critical infrastructure, things like that. Yep.
Congressman, thank you so much for your work. We'll be watching your agenda, and we so appreciate your time this morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.
Congressman Mark Green for joining us. Thank you.